Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachach, Wadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Shalom, shalom. And shalom to the 144,000 and those that are scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom. And this is Brother Nabala here with another lesson. All right. And, the title of this lesson pretty much, is going to get into one woe is past, and there are two more hereafter. All right, the third woe comes quickly, man. All right, so this is pretty much, just getting into, the documentation of the world wars. All right, and that, the first two world wars were documented in the scriptures, man. All right, they're biblical. It was prophecy. All right, just to make that point. All right. And World War III is going to be inevitable. All right, World War III is it's going to happen. All right, why? Because it's prophecy. All right, it's prophecy, and that's the spirit. All right, that's out there right now, man. Is that spirit of prophecy? All right, that's the spirit that Yahweh Shai came in. All right, that's the spirit that the prophets are in today. All right, and these are the things that Yahweh Bashim Shai, had, you know, uh, uh, you know, uh, prophesied about as well. All right, he prophesied about, or the prophets, Slakia, the prophets, prophesied as well, as it tells you in the book of Jeremiah 28. All right, which we'll get that real quick. Slakia, I meant to say the prophets. Slakia, correction. Let's get the book of Jeremiah. Slakia. 28 and 8. Slakia, where's it at? Here we go, right here. All right, we'll start at 7. Highlight this. Highlight this too. All right. So this is Jeremiah 28 and 7. It says, "Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and in the ears of all the people." All right. And it says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war." There you go. Kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophets which prophesy of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall Slakia, then shall the prophet be known that Yahweh Bashmal Shad truly sent them. All right. So that's the spirit. All right. That Lord's will, that us prophets, all right, are coming in. All right, according to the book of Revelations. All right, which we could get that. All right, because that's the spirit that we have to come in. All right, so let's get that. All right, if you're a true prophet, all right, of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, then you will come in the spirit of prophecy. All right, and we are in a time of prophecy right now taking place. Revelations 19 and 10. And it says here, it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him." All right. And it says, "And he said unto me, see thou do it not." All right. So this is when John the Revelator, bowed down to an angel. All right. And the angel's pretty much telling him, you don't bow down to him. All right. Don't worship me. All right. And it says, "I am a fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai." Worship Yahweh Bashim Shai, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. All right. So the testimony of Yahweh Bashim Shai is the spirit of prophecy. And if I'm not mistaken, let's get into that word testimony. Get into that word testimony. It means a testifying, an office committed to the prophets of testifying concerning future events. What one testifies, testimony, i.e., before a judge. Let's go to the Strong's. It said evidence given. You see, record, report, testimony, a witness. You see, to be a witness. All right. So if you're in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, then you're a witness, of these prophecies, man, taking place. Because these prophecies are literally taking place right before our eyes, man. All right, and we're seeing what's going on with America and Iran. All right, every day the scriptures tell you. All right, the scriptures tell you in the book of Matthews, which we could get, and we should get that in the NLT. I mean, in the Good News translation. Um, what is it? Matthew's 24. Let's get that in the Good News translation. Slakia. Gotta let this load up here. All right, let's get the book of Matthew's in the Good News translation. What is it? Matthew's 24. Is it verse 8? Let me see. Verse 6. Yep, let's start at Matthew 24 and verse 6. And it says, ye are going to hear the noise of battles, right? That's what's going on now. All right, we're hearing the noises, the noises of battles. It says close by in the news of battles far away, but do not be troubled. Says things must happen, but they do not mean that the end has come. All right, countries will fight each other, kingdoms will attack each other. There will be famines and earthquakes everywhere. All right. It says all these are like the first pains of childbirth. All right, but the point is that we're hearing wars and rumors of wars. All right, we're hearing the noises, of wars. All right, we're hearing war being, we're hearing war all over the news. All right, and specifically the talks of World War III. All right, which is biblical. All right, it's in the scriptures, which we'll get here pretty soon. All right, but before I do that, all right, we're gonna get into the first two wars. All right, that's actually took place. All right, that's actually documented in the scriptures, man. All right, you see, the scriptures tell you that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is a man that he shall not lie, man. All right, he's the man that he shall not lie. Salakia. So everything that's written in these scriptures are faithful and true, man. All right. All right, let's get back here. All right, so this is World War I. All right, which took place from July 28th, 1914 to November 11th, 1918. All right, and it lasted about 4 years. It says here, and it says why it started. It says started after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. It says mainly fought in Europe. It says ended with the signing of the armistice on November 11th, 1918. It says the Treaty of Versailles 1919 officially ended the war and placed heavy penalties on Germany. All right, so this is the first war that's documented. All right, right here. So you go down right here to World War II, and World War II was from September 1st, 1939 to September 2nd, 1945, and it lasted about 6 years. It said it began when Germany invaded Poland. It says involved most of the world's nations, including major events like Pearl Harbor in 1941 and D-Day in 1944. It said it ended after Germany surrendered in May 1945 and Japan surrendered in September 1945 following the atomic bombing. All right, I believe that was what is it, Hiroshima? All right, when they dropped that atomic bomb, if I'm not mistaken. I believe, yeah, it was Hiroshima. Hiroshima. There we go. All right, that was dropped. All right, in Japan. Okay, and and if I'm not mistaken, I believe. Let me see. Let me type this in. Just for edification purposes. When was the first bomb dropped by the U.S.? Okay. Atomic bomb of Hiroshima. Okay, that's what I was looking for. All right, so this the first atomic bomb used by the United States in war. It was dropped during World War II. All right, August 6, 1945, Hiroshima, Japan. All right, bomb named Little Boy, aircraft B-29 bomber Enola Gray. All right, 3 days after the U.S. dropped the second atomic bomb of Nagasaki, August 9, 1945, Japan surrendered shortly after September 2nd, 1945, ending World War II. All right. And let's get here. Slakia in the book of Revelations. Let me see. Let's see the book of Revelation. Let me see. Slakia. Trying to look for something. Here we go. Right here. This is Revelations 13. Okay. And it says here, Revelation 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right. And those, are getting into these, atomic bombs. All right. Um, that Babylon, dropped, in Japan. All right. So that's how Babylon the Great, America, put fear into these other nations, man, by dropping these atomic bombs, having that ability. All right, but we're seeing now that these other nations, don't fear, Babylon the Great anymore, man. They don't fear this place anymore because they have the same capabilities as Babylon, man, as America. All right. So this is actually documented here in Revelations 13. All right. Revelation 13 and 13, and it says, he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. All right. So, that account, in 1945, all right, when they dropped atomic bomb, in Japan, you know, was, in the sight of men. All right. Everybody's seen it. All right. Everybody's seen the devastation that atomic bomb, did. All right. To Japan. All right. So this is actually documented right here, man. So you can't tell me, man, that these scriptures aren't faithful and true, man. All right. The words of Yahweh Bashim Shai are true, are faithful and true. All right. These prophecies do not miss. Okay. Whether they were prophecies from the past or whether they're prophecies in the future, man. All right. They don't miss. Okay. Now let's prove. Let's go to Revelations 9. I believe towards the end. Let me see. Revelations 9. Here we go. Revelations 9 and 12. It says, "Woe." It says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come two more woes hereafter." All right. Now we read in the NLT. It says, "The first terror is past, but look, two more terrors are coming." All right, and woe getting into destruction. All right. You see. So the scriptures talk about World War One. All right, World War Two and World War Three taking place. All right. So woe get into destruction. All right. So one woe is past. So that's World War One, which took place, which took place in which took place from 1914 to 1918. All right. You got World War II, which took place from 1939 to 1945. All right. And we read this in Revelation 13:13. All right. You know, um, when America, dropped the first atomic bomb. All right. In on Japan. All right, which is documented, in the book of Revelations 13:13. All right, when he made fire come from the heavens. All right, in the sight of men. All right, so now let's go back here and get the book of Revelations 11 and 14. And it says here, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. So, the second World War, all right, ended in 1945. Okay. September 1st, 1945. All right. When they dropped that atomic bomb on Japan. All right. And and it says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, which we are in that time. All right, we're in that time, of that third woe. All right. The scriptures tell you there's a time for peace, a time for war, and we are in the time of war. All right, as we've been seeing all over the news. All right. Matter of fact, Donald Trump mentioned, that they are looking to attack Iran, Lord's will, by this weekend. All right, but we shall see. But the point is that World War III is inevitable. All right, it's going to happen. It's right here in the scriptures in the book of Revelations 14. All right, it tells you. All right, and we read in the book of Revelations, what is it, Revelations 9. All right, and it talks about, all right, one woe is past, and there are two more hereafter. So those were actually documented. Okay, so we're definitely, in a time of war, man. All right, we're in a time of prophecy. All right, we're hearing wars and rumors of wars. All right, according to the book of Matthew 24. All right, so those, I just wanted to, throw that out there, man. All right, hey, man, these prophecies, man, are faithful, man. Let's get that, man. Let's finish off with that. Slakia. Is it Revelations? Here we go, right here, Revelation 22:6. Straight to the point. And it says, and he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true. All right. And it says, in Yahweh Shai of the holy prophets sent his angels unto him to show unto him servants the things which must shortly be done. All right. So, Yahweh Shai is gave us the eye salve and gave us, the vision to see these things, man. All right. That's, prophets. All right. And to be a prophet is, to say it before it happens. All right. So we see these things taking place. So Yahweh Shai is revealing these things unto us. The scriptures tell you, I will do nothing until I reveal my secrets. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's see if I can find it here. Slovakia. Let me see. What is it? Reveal secrets. get this other Bible. Salakia. Salakia. Where's my other Bible at? Here we go. Let me see. Reveal. Oops, Salakia. Man, I forget where that's at. Come on. Oh man. Okay, Salakia. Let me look this up. Reveal secrets. Two prophets. What is it? Oh, it's Amos 3 and 7. Okay, Amos 3 and 7. Salakia. Amos 3 and 7. That's where it's at. Amos 3 and 7. How can I forget that? Amos 3 and 7. All right, let's get that in the book of Amos 3 and 7. Amos 3 in verse 7. It says, surely Yahweh Bashim Shai. It says, surely Yahweh Bashim Shai will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. All right. So Yahweh Bashim Shai, he's going to reveal these things to his prophets before he makes his moves, man. All right. He's going to reveal these things so that his prophets will go and preach these things before they happen. All right. So Yahweh Bashim Shai is not going to do nothing until he revealeth his secret to the servants, the prophets. All right. Let's go back to Revelations 22. And it says here again, and he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true. All right. These sayings, man, these words, these scriptures. All right. And it says Yahweh Bashim Shai it says the power of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. All right. So these things are going to happen. All right. These things are going to happen. These prophets are taking place right now in front of our eyes, man. All right. So, I was kind of wanting to just, do a lesson on that, man, just to kind of, put that out there, man, that the words of Yahweh Bashim Shai are faithful and true. All right. That World War I and World War II are documented in the scriptures, and World War III is going to happen, man. We're seeing the talks of wars, man. All right. We're seeing World War III taking place in front of our eyes. We're seeing Ezekiel 38, Salakia, Ezekiel 38 taking place in front of our eyes, man. All right. Ezekiel 38, getting to, how Russia, is going to pretty much be, protection, all right, for these other nations, all right, mainly, one of the main nations is Iran, also known as Persia, all right, in the scriptures. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get that, and we'll end off with that, all right. Let's get the book of Ezekiel 38. All right, it's moving kind of slow, Slakia. All right, this is Ezekiel 38. We can start from 1 on down to 7. Highlight this. All right, this is Ezekiel 38. All right, it says prophecy about Gog. All right, in the future invasion of Israel. It says, and the word of Yahweh Bashim Shai came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog. All right, in the land of Magog. All right, so the land of Magog already represents Russia. All right, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal and prophesy against him. All right, so you get into chief prince. All right, let's get to this word. Or is it chief? Let me see. Is it chief or prince? Yep, here we go.
Strong's H 7218. Ramath Negev. Ramath Negev. Second entry. Rosh. Rosh.
All right, which is actually, Rosha. All right, Russia. All right, that's when you get into this word prince. It says head, top, summit, upper part, chief. All right, the chief of Russia is who? All right, Vladimir Putin. Total sum height, front, beginning, head of man, animals, top tip. All right, chief head of man, city, nation, place, family, or priest. All right, so that's this is talking about Vladimir Putin. All right, he is the head, the top. All right, the chief of Russia. All right. So it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. It says, and say, Thus said Yahweh Shai, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right, so meaning Russia, all right, and these other nations are going to go back into their militaristic ways. All right, they're going to go back to their militaristic ways. That's the best way to put it. All right, go back to the Soviet Union ways. It says Persia, all right, which represents Iran. You see here in verse 5, Persia, which represents Iran. All right, Ethiopia, Libya with them, and all of them with shield and helmet. All right, Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah. All right, and Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. It says, Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself. It says, Thou that all thy companies are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right. So Russia is going to be a guard unto all these nations, man. All right. And you see Persia, all right, also known as Iran today. All right. You got Togarmah, I believe that's Turkey, Gomer, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, Salaki, if I'm wrong, it's Germany, if I'm not mistaken. But man, this just goes to show you, all right, that these scriptures are faithful and true, man. This goes to show you that, the things that are written in these scriptures, is a prophecy. All right. So, this is beautiful to see. All right. And just to see, World War I or World War II being documented, in the scriptures, World War III documented in the scriptures before, all right, it even happened. All right, that Yahweh Shai has his prophets out there in the highways and the hedges, out there prophesying about World War III. All right, coming. All right, you gotta, here in Ezekiel 38. All right, talks about Gog and the land of Magog. All right, which Magog is Russia. All right, you got the ancient names of these other nations, all right, here in the scriptures. All right, so hey man, these prophecies are on point, man. All right, these prophecies are on point. All right, so man, with that being said, I just pray that this lesson was edifying. All right, and I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors to our elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone once again who teach and rule well. And this is Brother Nabala into the next lesson. Shalom, shalom.